Hi, so it's me again, making another audio rather than video because it's dark here. I'm up in the park. This park is about 150 meters above the Med. I've got a fantastic view of Orion tonight, and it's quite spectacular. You can see all the individual stars. You can even see the slight orange glow of Betelgeuse, which is such an enormous star. If you look it up, the size of Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse or however you wish to pronounce it, if you look up the size of it compared with our sun, it's enormous. It's absolutely enormous. And then you can see the belt of Orion. You can see the sword of Orion, which contains within it a nebula. I think, I can't remember. Is it the Horsehead Nebula within the sword of Orion? It could be. And yeah, so it's a really clear night, and the Mistral blew in this afternoon, or this morning. That's the wind from the west here, so it's very clear skies. And the nice thing about this park is there's no lighting, so there's the light pollution. Well, there is light pollution from the city of Nice, but just immediately here there's very little. I can see the Pleiades high above me. I can see Polaris. I can see there's Taurus, and there's about a half moon. It's surprisingly, even a half moon is enough light to cast quite a shadow. So so the markets last week, it wasn't great for me. Took a hit on a couple of swing positions, but I probably held too long in retrospect. And the cryptos are very weak this weekend. I saw the fear and greed index was down below 20. I think it was 18 yesterday or this morning. ETH was struggling around 3,100. Ethereum, which is well off the highs, but we've seen this before. Bitcoin is around 41,000, that sort of level. But I'm still holding various cryptos. I'm not trading them. This is not investment advice at all. It's interesting where I am here, because this was an ancient villa. It's now a public park, but it was a private villa with huge grounds and lots of olive trees. They're all over the place. There's thousands of olive trees here, including one that's over 1,000 years old. I've probably mentioned before on my videos, and it's really nice. And you never used to be able to come here at night because they used to lock the gate, but now they've got an automatic turnstile to get out, which is open till 9 o'clock at night. So as long as you get in the winter hours by 6, you can walk around and enjoy it. And I like it in the evening. I like seeing the winter sky. It's the best if you want to observe stars. This is the best time of year. I've always been interested in the skies and the stars. They don't change. That's the amazing thing about the sky. I mean, you can look up at Orion now, and that's exactly the same thing that Marcus Aurelius looked up and saw, and Seneca, and even Aristotle, and all those people from ancient history. They looked up and saw that, and that's really interesting. The older I get, the more I realise how little we've advanced. okay, we've advanced hugely in terms of technology, and that's why I can talk on this video on a mobile phone and record it, and Seneca could never do that. Seneca wrote in his notebook and he sent his letters, and that's why we know, that's why we have a record of what he said. And I don't have to do that, but in some ways, in some ways we haven't advanced a lot. Anyway, I find it really interesting to think that you look at that's why I love the high mountains as well, because when you're in the high mountains, nothing's changed up there. Everything's still the same. You don't have the shopping centres and the bloody airports and all the rest of it, which is, I regard as really ugly. All the things that we've produced in the last few hundred years, they are pretty damn ugly. Look at a city like Venice, and look at Venice, and then compare it with modern London, and it pains me what's happened to London. They're trying to eliminate the old street plans. I was watching a video today actually on YouTube following the River Fleet. It's really interesting because I knew the River Fleet when obviously it rises on Hampstead Heath and then comes down through Islington, and but I never realised it used to go past my kitchen window, because I lived for a while in King's Cross Road in King's Cross, and the River Fleet basically flows underneath the street there, King's Cross Road, which turns into Farringdon Road, and eventually the Fleet comes out into the Thames at Blackfriars. And it was a fascinating video, just following its progress. And there's a pub in Clerkenwell I used to go to with a mate of mine called the Coach and Horses, and there's a grid in the street, and this guy in the video, I'll post a link to the video. It's such a good video, and they shine a torch down the grid into underground, and there's the River Fleet just passing along like nothing has changed. Obviously we've over the years we've paved over it, but it's still there. It's still life. Its life goes on. It's not really changed, and that's why, in the same way, I love to look up at the stars at night. I come here to the park, and there's very little light pollution, so you can see the stars. And in the mountains, the mountains haven't really changed at all, and I love that. I love that feeling that the life the natural world continues. So there you have the River Fleet just running down the street. I think it's Ray Street. It's just off Farringdon Road. If you know the area, there's a pub called, I think it's called Coach and Horses, and it literally flows past that pub, and eventually it flows down Farringdon Road and into the Thames. But apparently in medieval times it was a navigable river. You could take a boat, a smallish boat, from the Thames up the River Fleet as far as maybe I don't know, as far as King's Cross. That's really, I found that really fascinating. So anyway, that's my little update this evening. You can hear the wind; it's quite strong, but it's beautifully clear. And as I say, Orion just above me. You see the sword of Orion. It's absolutely stunning. It really is stunning. I love looking at the stars. I could sit here all night and look at the stars. I really could. So if you like the video, give it a like. I will go back now. I'll cook some dinner. I think I'm going to cook a fish curry, which is my favourite. And I'll do this. I'll do this again. We'll have to see what happens with the cryptos, because we're obviously in a very weak point. I think Bitcoin is only down about 30% of its all-time high, so it's been a lot lower. So it can go down again. I was listening to a podcast this evening, State of the Markets podcast, quite good, with Tim Price. They talk quite a bit about cryptos. I recommend listening to that. But who knows? I think the cryptos will head higher, the main ones. Uh, as I said before, maybe Ethereum will overtake Bitcoin. I don't know. It's about 1 to 3 at the moment, 3 to 1, I think the ratio is. So we'll have to see. I could be completely wrong. This obviously is not investment advice. But okay, that's my bit for now. Bye.